Let's be real. The vibe in Cleveland hasn't been great these past few weeks. The Browns have been fighting turbulence, trying desperately to find rhythm after a stretch that's left this offense gasping near the bottom of the league. The defense, led by Myles Garrett, man, that guy's been putting up Defensive Player of the Year level performances. He's been doing everything he can to keep this team alive. But offensively, it's been brutal. After Joe Flacco's short but surprisingly memorable stint, the Browns rolled the dice on rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel. He's got the confidence, he's got the college stats, but let's be honest, he's still learning what it takes to run an NFL offense. And that learning curve? It's been costly. The Browns are averaging just 15.8 points per game and barely 270 yards of total offense. That's bottom tier stuff. In a division as savage as the AFC North, that's a recipe for disaster. So, what does Stefanski do? During the bye week, when teams usually look in the mirror and decide who they really are, he pulls the plug. He says, enough, we've got to be better. And for a man who's known for his grip on the offense, this move speaks volumes. He said, I believe in Tommy. This feels like the right time. You can feel the weight in those words. That's not just delegation. That's desperation and hope rolled into one. When a head coach gives up what's basically part of his DNA, the alarm bells go off. And that wasn't the only wake-up call inside Berea. Sources say Dillon Gabriel got called into meetings and was told straight up, his job is not safe. The team needs to see real growth, an offense that can actually threaten defenses, push the ball downfield, and not play scared. And here I am, trying to do my best to gather all the information I can for you and share it with you. Please leave your likes and comments, and I would be grateful if you subscribed. Let's continue. Right now, it's not happening. Gabriel's stats don't lie. 702 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks in 4 starts. But that 4.9 yards per attempt? That's dead last among all starting quarterbacks. That's a massive red flag. Stefanski reportedly made it crystal clear. You've got to let it rip. If you keep playing scared, you'll lose that locker room fast. And boy, did the dog pound explode after this news broke. Half the fan base is preaching patience. Let the kid grow. Give him time. And the other half? They're done. They want change. They're saying if he's going to learn, let him learn from the sideline. And that's where this gets even spicier, because there's one name that keeps echoing in those hallways. Shedeur Sanders. Yep, the rookie. The son of the legendary Deion Sanders. He's still nursing that back injury, missed week 8, hasn't fully practiced since the bye, but Stefanski's keeping things vague. He's improving, he says. But let's be honest, the writing's on the wall. If Gabriel doesn't figure this out fast, the Shedeur era might start sooner than anyone expected. That's why this whole situation feels explosive. The Browns are standing at a crossroads. Either the offense wakes up right now, or this season unravels. The defense has carried its weight. It's top tier in sacks, dominating the line, keeping this team alive. But you can't win in this league scoring under 16 points a game. Stefanski knows that. Handing the reins to Reese isn't just tactical, it's political. It's him saying, I hear you, Cleveland. It's him saying, I'm willing to change. And behind closed doors, Reese is already shaking things up. Sources say he wants to open the offense, bring in more intermediate throws, more pre-snap motion, more creative concepts, and a looser leash for Gabriel. He wants to remind the kid who he is. Mobile, confident, a playmaker. The biggest thing missing from Gabriel's game right now is belief. You can literally see it on tape. He's dumping it off to running backs, throwing short to tight ends, passing up deep shots even when the receivers are open. And that's creating frustration in the locker room. I'm hearing Amari Cooper's been vocal about wanting more aggressive play calls. And Elijah Moore straight up said the offense needs to stop playing scared. And honestly, he's right. That's why Stefanski's move matters so much. It's not just about who's calling plays. It's about accountability. It's about sending a message. We're not settling. The team needs juice. It needs energy. It needs rhythm. And for Gabriel, this is it. According to Mary Kay Cabot, the Browns plan to give him about 4 games to show progress before they seriously consider turning to Shedeur. That's pressure, man. That's career-defining pressure. On the technical side, there's a ton to fix. Cleveland's red zone efficiency is dreadful, barely converting 39% of trips into touchdowns. The run game hasn't been the same since Nick Chubb went down. Jerome Ford's trying, but defenses don't respect the deep ball anymore. so they're stacking the box and daring Gabriel to beat them. Reese knows that. Expect to see more 2 tight end sets, heavier play action, maybe even some read option wrinkles to tap into Gabriel's mobility. And right on cue comes the ultimate test, the New York Jets. Don't let that 1-win record fool you. Their defense is nasty, fast, physical, and built to expose hesitation. This game is going to show us everything. Either the Browns offense finds new life, or we're talking about a total reset by Monday morning. Because Cleveland doesn't just need a win right now, they need a statement. Something that restores belief inside that locker room and quiets all the noise outside. Another flat outing, and I promise you this fan base is going to erupt. Tommy Rees, the guy who just took over as acting head coach, yeah, the same guy who was only supposed to keep the seat warm, has flipped the entire organization upside down. This man didn't just walk into that building and stick to the script. He tore the script to shreds and wrote a brand new one. Because while Kevin Stefanski is sitting on the sideline watching his legacy quietly crumble, Tommy Rees is out here preparing Shedeur Sanders to take over as the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. No hesitation, no apologies, no asking for permission, just action, just conviction. And I'll be real with you, this isn't just a move, it's a statement. It's a shot fired across the bow of the entire organization. Because what Rees is saying, loud and clear, is this: we're done waiting. We're done making excuses. We're done pretending like this team doesn't have its next franchise quarterback already in the building. Now, I know some people think this is just another case of hype, another wait-and-see moment. But nah, when you start connecting the dots, when you listen to what's coming out of Berea, you start to realize this is a full-blown quarterback revolution happening in real time. And it's wild, because on the surface, it might look like Rees is just giving Shedeur a few extra reps, right? Maybe just throwing him a bone, keeping him engaged. But that's not what's happening here. Tommy Rees is all in. He's coaching Shedeur like he's the guy. He's treating him like the face of the franchise. The kind of treatment Stefanski has stubbornly refused to give him all season. And when Rees walked up to that podium for his first press conference as acting head coach, the entire tone of the organization shifted. I could feel it through the screen. This man spoke about Shedeur Sanders with belief. Real belief, not that generic "we'll see" nonsense. I'm talking about conviction in his voice. He said Shedeur's work ethic was absolutely insane. He talked about the hours Shedeur's been putting in. First one in the building, last one out. Studying film like a man possessed. Working after practice with receivers to fine-tune every single route, every bit of timing, every detail. That's what franchise quarterbacks do. And Rees knows it. And the way Rees described it, you could tell he's been watching Shedeur closely. The film study, the processing, the way the game is starting to slow down for him. That's the telltale sign of a QB who's about to break through. When the chaos doesn't look like chaos anymore. When the game finally starts moving at your rhythm, not the other way around. That's when it clicks. That's when you stop just surviving and you start controlling the game. Rees said Shedeur's reached that point, that mental level where he's no longer reacting, he's anticipating. And when a quarterback gets there, you can't keep him on the bench. You just can't. Now, of course, a reporter asked the question that every Browns fan's been yelling from their couch for weeks. If Shedeur's working this hard and showing this much promise, why not play him? And Rees's answer? Man, it was brilliant. He said, "That's not my focus right now. And listen, that's not a no. That's a not yet. That's a coach who's saying, I'm getting this kid ready. I'm preparing him so when the time comes, there will be no debate, no hesitation, no going back. That's leadership. That's a coach with a plan. And behind the scenes, the reports are absolutely wild. Rees has Shedeur taking first team reps. Let me repeat that. First team reps. That's not symbolic. That's preparation. That means Shedeur's running the actual plays that would go into a Sunday game plan. He's working against the starting defense. He's timing up with the top receivers. He's essentially being trained as the starter. Because, let's be honest, that's what he's about to be. And people watching those practices, they're saying Shedeur is lighting it up, laser accurate, commanding the huddle. Deep balls that drop in perfectly. Short passes with snap and rhythm. He's running that offense like he's been doing it for years. And here's what's crazy. Tommy Rees knows exactly what kind of player he's dealing with. He knows Shedeur was forged in fire back at Colorado, under Deion Sanders, where every game was a media spectacle and every throw was picked apart by the entire country. You don't survive that unless you've got ice in your veins. Shedeur learned how to block out the noise, how to perform when the lights are blinding, and how to deliver when everything's on the line. Reese sees that, and he's saying, yeah, that's the guy I want leading this team. Meanwhile, you've got Kevin Stefanski, the supposed head coach, acting like Shedeur Sanders doesn't even exist, refusing to say his name in pressers, acting like Dillon Gabriel is some untouchable franchise piece, while the entire offense sputters and dies every Sunday. And that's what's driving fans absolutely insane. You can feel the tension building. Reese is praising Shedeur openly. Stefanski's pretending nothing's happening. It's like two different realities colliding in the same building. The players can feel it. The media can feel it. The fans definitely feel it. And it's becoming impossible to ignore. But here's the thing. Stefanski might not have the power to stop this anymore. Reese is calling the shots, and you can tell from the energy in Berea that the tide's turning fast. This isn't just a coaching rift. This is a cultural reset. Because here's what's really happening. Tommy Reese isn't just fighting for Shedeur Sanders. He's fighting for the soul of this football team. The Browns are on the edge of collapse. You've got whispers in the locker room. You've got guys frustrated, doubting leadership. And then you've got Myles Garrett, the face of the franchise, stepping up to a podium and saying he's done listening to excuses. When Myles Garrett speaks like that, that's DEFCON 1 for any coaching staff. Because that man has been the definition of professionalism. When he's calling out the offense publicly, you know the patience is gone. He's out there every week playing like a superhero, carrying that defense, and watching the offense completely waste his effort. And you can hear it in his voice. That frustration of knowing you're doing everything right while the other side keeps tripping over itself. So yeah, this isn't just about Shedeur Sanders. This is about a team at a breaking point, and Tommy Reese trying to pull it back from the edge. Meanwhile, Stefanski's doubling down on Dillon Gabriel, hoping for a miracle that's never coming. The fans are done. The locker room's done. The analysts are done. Everyone can see what's coming. And that roar you hear from Cleveland? That's not noise. That's a fan base begging for change. Begging for Shedeur Sanders to finally take the field and prove what he's been building toward all this time. And I'll say it right here. That moment is coming. You can feel it. The shift is happening. Tommy Reese is preparing for it. Shedeur Sanders is ready for it. And when it finally happens, when this kid finally steps onto that field as the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback, everything, and I mean everything, is going to change. Because this isn't just another quarterback move. This is the start of a new era in Cleveland. And when it hits, the NFL won't know what just hit it.